Johannesburg, South Africa's largest city, is a place that tells a story of stark contrast. Beauty shadowed by brutality, hope tarnished by violence. Once a symbol of wealth and progress, today it stands as one of the most dangerous cities in the world, where death and fear have become a daily reality for many. In this sprawling metropolis, the population of 4 million is divided sharply along racial and economic lines. While wealthy suburbs are fortified with electric fences and private security, the vast townships and slums are battlegrounds ruled by gangs, poverty, and desperation. This documentary offers a raw, unfiltered glimpse into life inside Johannesburg's deadliest neighborhoods, particularly focusing on Diepsloot, a township plagued by relentless crime and violence. Here, people live with the constant threat of murder, assault, and exploitation. 20 murders a day occur citywide, with Diepsloot itself reporting up to 16 murders a month. It is a place where basic human necessities like clean water and private toilets are luxuries few can afford. Communities are trapped in a cycle of poverty and violence, with gangs like the notorious Die Hard Boys controlling territory through drug trade and terror. The Die Hard Boys are led by young men barely out of their teens, their lives shaped by crime, drugs, and the harsh environment around them. Brandon, recently released from prison, heads the gang, operating with reckless abandon and a violent mindset. These young men are simultaneously sons, cousins, and members of families, but live lives on the edge where survival often means inflicting harm. They smoke highly potent, mixed heroin products costing only a few euros, but capable of stripping away sanity and fueling aggression. In this violent jungle, dominance is a matter of life and death. Survival of the fittest is more than a saying. It is the brutal reality. Life in Diepsloot is grim. Endless garbage is dumped openly, untreated sewage pollutes communal living areas, and unsafe abortions add to human tragedy. Families and neighbors share dilapidated shacks with little protection from the elements. Reports of sexual violence, even against infants, are tragically common, and justice is elusive. Police presence is insufficient and highly ineffective, often arriving far too late or unable to intervene adequately. In desperate response, communities have formed vigilante groups, militia men who take the law into their own hands. Christopher, one of the leaders, oversees weekend kill pay operations where swift retribution is meted out to those accused of theft, assault, or worse. These violent acts, while brutal, are seen by some residents as necessary steps for survival and justice in a system that fails them. Stories of people beaten, lynched, and houses burned are horrifically commonplace. The documentary captures harrowing testimonies and scenes from these streets. Vigilante justice unfolding amid crowds, crude torture methods, and citizens forced into roles as judge, jury, and executioner. This cycle of violence deepens fear and trauma, but also reveals the resilience and complexity of human life in desperate circumstances. Beyond Diepsloot, Johannesburg's immense disparities are evident. The wealthy white minority cluster in secure neighborhoods, protected behind high walls and electrified fences, while the majority black population faces daily insecurity. Penny Stein, a resident of a wealthy suburb, shares her experiences of violent attacks, leading her to install sophisticated security systems and live with constant fear. Her life of comfort is shielded by multiple layers of security, but no system can fully erase the anxiety born from knowing neighbors live under such threat. Efforts to prevent crime include community education and engagement, led by activists like Penny who run workshops for police, security personnel, and residents. She advocates sharing information openly with authorities to help combat crime. However, mistrust between citizens and police runs deep, fueled by rampant corruption, incompetence, and the horrific statistic that hundreds die in police custody annually. South Africa's police face immense challenges. Corruption scandals, leadership upheavals, and resource limitations hinder effective policing. contributing to the city's lawlessness. In neighborhoods like Diepsloot, residents have lost faith in official justice and rely instead on self-policing despite the risks. The documentary also depicts the private security industry, which thrives amid the chaos. Thousands of security personnel patrol neighborhoods, trained rigorously to confront armed criminals. Firearms and firearms training are essential gear for those tasked with guarding homes and businesses, reflecting the severity of the threat. The contrast between legal licensed firearms held by security firms and the unregulated weapons on the streets complicates efforts to curb violence. Crime rates in Johannesburg are among the highest worldwide, spanning murder, robbery, drug trafficking, and assault. Farm attacks in rural areas also claim many lives. Farmers like Nick live in constant danger, using firearms to protect themselves, as police response is often negligible. The narrative also examines the personal cost of this violence. Families suffer unimaginable loss and trauma, illustrated poignantly through the story of the Mondo family, who mourn their 5-year-old granddaughter, abducted, raped, and murdered. Such tragedies are heartbreakingly common, underscoring the failure of protective systems and the depth of community pain. Despite these grim realities, life continues. Residents navigate their daily existence with remarkable fortitude. Youths find moments of joy in music, dance, and connection, even amid adversity. The documentary features voices from within the community. Young men like Dion who mix reflection with defiance, recognizing both the challenges they face and the potential within themselves. In Johannesburg's city center, the contrast is visible in places like Jewel City, a high-security diamond trading hub where wealth and risk coexist. Employees operate under constant threat from crime, highlighting South Africa's complex relationship with wealth and poverty. The shadow of apartheid's violent history lingers over Johannesburg and South Africa at large, influencing present-day inequalities and social tensions. The documentary closes with reflections on the struggle to overcome this legacy, and on figures like Nelson Mandela and his family, who symbolize hope, leadership, and the ongoing fight for justice. Johannesburg's story is a powerful, sobering portrait of a city caught between beauty and brutality, despair and resilience. It compels us to consider the social, economic, and political forces that fuel violence, and the courage of those striving to reclaim safety and dignity for themselves and their communities. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share widely to raise awareness of the challenges faced by Johannesburg and cities like it across the world. Together, we can foster greater understanding and support efforts for change. Thank you for watching.